Hey guys, it's Wednesday, and I just wanted to check in and see how everyone is doing. The weather throughout the country has turned rather bizarre this past couple of weeks. So, right now, many of you in the South, and especially in Texas, if that's where you're from, are dealing with some really tough weather conditions that's impacted you personally in the form of electricity and power and natural gas and ways to keep warm. So our thoughts and prayers are with you guys from Texas if you're experiencing that. It's also impacting other parts of the country. So note that I am aware of the weather and what it's doing, and I keep that in mind. So I did want to just reach out to remind you that if you are having challenges completing our assignments for this week because of that, and eventually when you get around to maybe seeing this, um, just let me know. You can leave me a note in the assignment submission area that you were dealing with some weather related issues so I can take that into consideration. So that's important. Outside of that, again, just keep me posted and updated. You can always call or text if you want. Sometimes when you don't have the ability to check one's computer, you can always call or text. Still get that out. So feel free to do that if I can be of any assistance to you. All right. Otherwise, just leave me a note, and I'll be totally understandable with that. This is our last big assignment here in Module 7, and that's your final paper. And the final paper, as I've mentioned before in the short module lectures and elsewhere, is a combination of milestone 1, milestone 2, and then you have about 6 or 7 other critical elements that were not part of either milestone that you still need to address. So as you're preparing your final project, um, go back and look at your module or your milestone 1 and milestone 2. Look at my feedback and comments to you and suggestions, incorporate those, and then you can clean it up and polish it up, and then you can set those aside. All right. So do that for milestone 1, milestone 2, and in theory, you probably have about 2/3 of your paper done. And the last third would be the additional critical elements that were not part of milestone 1 and milestone 2. And that's where you talk about things such as discovery, statute of limitations, and things like that. So use the assignment guidelines and the grading rubric as your outline. That way you will make sure that you address each of the critical elements, because in the past, some students have just merely resubmitted milestone 1, milestone 2, and they forgot these other critical elements. So um, don't do that. Use that as your outline, and take your time. Don't wait for the last minute to work on this assignment, okay? So that's what we're doing this week. That's a huge part of our class. This project is worth 30% of your grade. It's worth 300 points out of 1,000, so that's 30%. So that's a pretty heavily weighted item. But again, you've done 2/3 of that work already in your milestone 1 and milestone 2 assignments. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and, and hopefully I'll be able to clarify your questions regarding this assignment. So take a look at the short module lectures I posted. Right, I discuss statute of limitations, discovery issues. I also offer you a chart on the litigation process in criminal uh, trials. And basically what we're talking about here are, what are the steps? What are the basic steps in any criminal process, any criminal trial, right? And it's pretty straightforward. You have an arrest, you have an arraignment, you have preliminary hearings, a grand jury, and then you have an indictment information, then you have trial and all the things that take place between the time you've been indicted or the state has filed information until you actually go to trial. That's where a lot of the motions are filed, the legal issues are resolved before one actually goes to trial, if that's what ends up happening. Okay. The other important thing to remember is February 28th, which is Sunday, is the last day of our class. So if you have any outstanding assignments, they need to be submitted by the end of the day, February 28th. I have a very short turnaround to submit grades. Usually it's about 2 days. So If you have any outstanding assignments, you get them to me early, that's fine. Don't forget Module 8. The only assignment you have that week is a discussion assignment. So don't slough it off. It's worth 25 points like all of our other discussion assignments, and sometimes you never know how important those 25 points are going to be. All right. That having been said, you guys are doing a great job. I really appreciate it. The hard work. This is a challenging class at times. We do a lot of writing, obviously. So hopefully you're getting and gaining a better understanding of how our court process works in this country at the federal and state level. And so at least you'll have a basic foundation upon which to build. Okay. So that's it, guys. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, we have some snow left over. Hopefully it'll be gone here in another week. Who knows? Much like some of you, we had some power issues and internet issues. My internet went out over the weekend. It didn't take long for them to get it back on, but it was out. So stay safe, everyone. Again, if you're having issues weather-wise, that's going to prevent you from getting your assignment turned in on time. Just leave me a note in the assignment submission area. Say, hey, I live here and we experienced some other issues, or whatever the case may be, or any other issues related to what's been going on either with the pandemic or this weather. Like I said, this has been some crazy weather for the last couple of weeks. So that having been said, again, guys, thank you. You guys are doing a great job. And please don't hesitate to reach out if I can be of any help. All right, guys. Look forward to reading your final papers. Bye.